Hey podcasters, this is Keith from Podpal. In this short tutorial, I'll be showing you how to add a new podcast to Podpal. Throughout the video, we'll be going over how to upload your podcast artwork, fill out your podcast details, and select your podcast settings. Okay, let's get started. If you haven't added a podcast before, you'll be prompted to add your first when you arrive on the My Podcast screen. On Pro and Agency plans, you can add more podcasts from the screen or in the sidebar podcast switcher. From the My Podcast screen, click the Start a New Podcast button. In this video, we'll be walking through starting a podcast from scratch, but if you're importing an existing podcast, check out our video tutorials that cover the import process. Okay, now click the Start a New Podcast button. Adding a podcast is simple in Podpal. Start by uploading your podcast artwork. If you have any trouble, check the question mark icons to see helpful tips like the mention and format restrictions. Next, fill out the details for your podcast. Be descriptive and let your future audience know what kind of awesome content they can expect. Then, select the podcast profile URL. Podpal will automatically generate a landing page for your podcast using this information. If your podcast name is already taken, try using different variations, and make sure to share your new page with your friends and fans. All this information is critical in helping podcast listeners find your content, so make sure to fill out your podcast details accurately. Show type, episode grouping, and episode numbering all help podcast platforms know how to group and order your content. Check the question mark icons for more information on each. Next, add ownership and author details. This information is not displayed on your profile, but can be used to help verify podcast ownership and add a layer of protection if others try to publish your content. Click Add Podcast and you're all set. From here, you can add additional details using the advanced settings or jump into the My Podcast dashboard to see any podcast you've added in Podpal. And remember, you can always click any question mark icon or visit our Help Center to get more details about Podpal's features.